Are you still here? Oh, you want more? Gotcha. Okay, I figured you went home for the day and that, but I guess if we want more, we can do 717 as well. So, Distance Learning 2.0, lesson 717. Got you a new picture. This is what Mr. McCarthy does when his wife makes him dress up in that. And we look how beautiful. Isn't she beautiful? Yeah, that's the one who takes care of me on a daily basis. So, let's get going. All right, obviously we need our dad joke of the day. So, did you know my favorite word was drool? Just rolls off your tongue. I know you like that one. Especially when you're falling asleep in the back of the room. Yes, Caden, I'm picking on you. Just kidding. Hey, so here we go. So we have 717. And when we look at 717, it's called percent of increase and decrease. So now we're going to talk about everyday life. Basic things. You go to a store, something on sale, is it decreasing or is it increasing? Alright, they mark something up, so let's say, let's talk about what's going on right now. So Walmart gets a shipment of toilet paper in there. Now they know it's in high demand, so they probably mark it up so they can make more of a profit, so that's an increase. So it kind of depends on what lens you're going to look at it. So let's take a look at 717. So we have this kid, he's got this company called MoCare, okay, and he needs to increase his price because gas and his other supplies have gone up. And obviously he's not going to make enough money to stay in business. So what we're trying to figure out is how much can he increase it up to a point where they're still going to want his service. Because he figured out that if he goes over 33%, okay, that's going to equal no business. So he's got to make sure that his increases stay below 33% increase. So that's our job. Now right now what it is he charges $12.50 per hour, okay, and he's going to up it to $15 per hour. We got to figure out, is that jump under 33%? So first of all, we set up an equation, and we got to figure out, so if you're following along on here, this is 776, we're on A, okay, and they want us to figure out, so what's the scale factor? Okay, this is our multiplier right here, so X, okay, is the scale factor, otherwise known as the multiplier. So we want to know, how did we get, okay, what did we multiply by to get 1250 up to 15? Okay, what was that multiplier? What's going on? What's that percent? So as you're looking at it, it says for B, it says solve the equation to determine the change. So we've got to solve this equation, which everybody should be able to do. Okay, how do we undo multiplication? Division. So we're going to divide by 1250, divide by 1250, and so X equals, and if we get on our calculators and do that, you should come up with 1.20. So they wanted us to write this, if you look at it, as a fraction, as a decimal, and as a percent. So if we're doing this for B, okay, we have it as a decimal, is my multiplier. As a fraction, what is that as a fraction, if we change that? That's not bad, okay? Or as a percent, if we move it over, we have 120%, okay, or 120 over 100. So there's a lot of different ways to do that. And I'll step out of the way so you can see that. Another way we could have done it is we could have simplified this down to the same thing as 6/5. Okay, so we know we're going up. The question is how much are we going up? Okay, so here's my question to you. This is an easy way to figure this out. I went from $12.50 up to $15. What was our increase? How much did we increase it by? How do we figure that out? Just subtract. So we take our $15, we subtract that out, so $2.50 was my increase. So that's how much I raised it. So here's the question. Okay, $2.50 is what percent of the original $12.50. Now some of you guys might want to draw a diagram. So let me move this up a little bit. So some of you guys are going to do this, and you're going to go, okay, so this was 100%, and that was your $12.50. Here's your $15. So this is that $2.50 increase. So we're trying to figure out this right here. Now some of you are going to go, oh, Mr. McCarthy, let's do 50%. Take half of that, which is $6.25. Some of you might even go all the way down to going, well, I have $12.50 as 100%, can't I do 10%? What's 10% of that? Yep, $1.25. So if 10% is $1.25, how much is $2.50? You're right, double it. So it should be 20%. So if you notice, the answer to this question, how much did he raise it by? He raised it by 20%. Now, you actually figured that out when you did this equation right here. Because we have the original 100%, that's what that 1 means, plus an extra 20%. So $15 is 120% of that. So 100% of $12.50 is $12.50, but then we raised it another 20%. So this number is 120% of that number. It's the original plus an extra 20%. Should we try another one? I know it's a little bit goofy, but let's try another one. So let's go to this one. For 77, Paige needs our help. Okay, she wants to convenience her grandmother to let her, convenience. See, I've been off of school too long. Convince her grandmother to let her sign up for a rock climbing class. Class is normally $50, but there's a special price of $34. So first question is that an increase or a decrease? You've got to be able to identify that. So the class originally was $50, now it's $34. You're right, it is a decrease. Okay? So we know this thing is a decrease. So they want us to estimate how much did it decrease? Well, $50, half of that is $25. So this is 50%. Did it go all the way down to $25 though? No. So we didn't decrease it by 50%, we only went down to 34. So do we go kind of somewhere in between? Maybe like 25 to 30%? Somewhere in that ballpark? Does that make sense? We didn't decrease it by half, because that would be all the way down to $25. We only went down to $34. Now they want us to draw a diagram, so let's draw our diagram. I'll move this up a little bit. So draw your diagram. Okay, so my original, so this is the 100%. My original is $50. This is my 0%, $0. Okay, and we went down to $34. So what we got to figure out is this part here, if we're drawing a diagram. I'll let you catch up, I'll take a moment. Okay, so we've got a lot of ways to do this, because we're trying to figure out how much has this changed. First of all, how much did it change from 50 down to 34? So it changed by $16. So we want to figure out what percent $16 is. Well, we can kind of do it the hard way. $50, we know that 10% is $5. And you can build your way up going 10, 20, 30 to 5, 10, 15. But remember, we're looking for 16. So it's not quite even. We could go down and go down further. Okay, go down from 10%, let's go down to 1%, which is 50 cents. And then you can multiply that up to get to there. That would be another way to do it. So you've got a lot of different ways to do it. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to keep working on this as we go down here. So it says, what's the original or the whole value of this thing? So what's the original whole value? Okay, it's $50. Okay, which we have right there. What's the percent? What percent is the change? So we've got to figure out that percent. Now I'm going to let some of you guys do it however way you want. Okay, when you're doing this, if you want to go down to the 1%, then you've got to get back up here, which is, so if we have 1%, if you went all the way down, multiply it by 10, so this would be, go all the way down, and no, it's not $1. You got to divide the $5 by 10, so it's 50 cents. And then work your way up to there. So hopefully when you work your way up, this portion right here, and then we need this portion right there. I'm giving you a moment to give it a try. You should have come up with 32% and 68%. So what percent is the change? That would be our 32%. That's the change. So right here, which is the $16. And then, does it, situation, is it an increase or decrease? Well, we already figured out that it was a decrease because we're going down in price. Questions? Okay. One more percent of increase or decrease, and then I'm going to send you on your own. So we have a percent of changes comparison, okay, whether something's increasing or decreasing. What is the percent of change from $30 to $33? My first question is going, it says draw a diagram. Is this an increase or decrease? Well, from 30 to 33, you better be saying increase. If we want to draw our diagram, you can draw your diagram. We're going from $30 to $33. So $30, which was here, was 100% of it. Now we're going up to $33. So we're trying to figure out how much did it go up, so the $3. So we went up by $3. So here's the question. $3 is what percent of 30? $3 is what percent of 30? So if you break all this down, you should be coming up with 10%. Now, one way to do this is you can go, what did we use as a multiplier? Okay, so we're going, if you look at, we'll get A of your problem. Okay, it's talking about calculating the percent of change. For this one, I would do it straightforward. I know that 100% is 30, so 10% is $3. That one's pretty easy. But it gets a little goofier when you do this one. What is the percent of change from $33 to $30? Well, first of all, we have a decrease this time. And now we're going from $33 down to $30. So this was our original 100%. Now I'm dropping down there. The question is how much are you dropping down? Well, we know we're dropping down $3. The question is if we're dropping down $3, $3 is how much of 33? Okay? $3 is how much of 33? So when you do that division, okay, you should be coming up with about 9%. So you'll come up with like 0.09, which is about 9%. So notice, even though we have the same two numbers, when we increased by $3, it was a 10% increase. But when we decreased, it's only about a 9% there. So here's the big key. Ask yourself, first of all, how much did it change by? $3. So $3 is how much of, what percent of 30? That's what we originally started with. $3 is what percent of 33? That's what we started with on this one. So that's what you got to be thinking, and then do your division from there. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to do 780, the Joe problem, with a bag of fertilizer. Okay, you're going to figure out the percent of increase because we went from $8 up to 15. So start thinking about how much did it change by and do that division. Okay, and then you can represent it as a fraction, a percent, and as a decimal. So do that right now. Pause your video so you can still look at the screen. And then, once you're all done, turn it back on, and you're going to get the answer and see that. Okay, which I'm going to put on right now. So depending on how you want to do this, we could do, we went from $8, we went up to $15. We didn't increase by a whole, or that would be $16, so we didn't increase by 100%. So we got to figure out what's that difference? So it went up by $7. So $7 is how much of 8? So 7 is how much of 8? So when it says do it as a fraction, percentage, decimal, I already have my fraction. So 7/8. As a percent, you're going to get on your calculator and you're going to get your decimal. So we could have 87.5% or, okay, 0.875. So which is our common sense? If we only went up by $7, we didn't increase by 100%, we increased by a little bit less, which that makes sense. Okay, again, think common sense. What was my increase or decrease? And that number is how much of the original number. And you got to be thinking divide, divide, divide. All right, thanks guys. Have fun. We'll see you next week.